everyone, and welcome to the kind of beginner video of the series. I am going to take a bit of time to just break this down for you, make this a little less overwhelming, I'm hoping, so that we can just kind of work with this material a little bit more productively. I'm also going to be going through the scales today, the basic overview of the scales. So I'm going to be kind of working and chopping and changing between doing the scale, explaining the scale, and then kind of giving you some tips on how to practice that scale and the exercises. So we are dealing with C major today. This is one of those scales you know there are no sharps, there are no flats, there's nothing going on. It's just all basically the white notes on the piano. So we're doing it in one octave nicely, and I'm going to really encourage you do this nice and slowly. Really nice and slowly. We want to get a really good sound going up to that C. Honestly, C major is one of the most challenging scales on the flute. It is. It's challenging for the more advanced players that go down to the low C. It's challenging for beginner players because we're going up to that mid-register C, which is just a really uncomfortable, nasty note. So it is just a challenge all round. So, take it slow. It sounds like, C major, that's the easy one. It's not. So we're going to play. And if you're not getting a good sound on each note, even slow it down more. And I'll breathe. So there, I'm just showing you, I'm breathing where I need to breathe. I'm not being too kind of rule bound at this point. If I'm just getting comfortable and used to those notes, just taking it nice and slow. Now I'm going to do the same thing with A minor. It's the same notes, except we start and end on A. So we're going to do the natural minor. So nice and slow. And you might want to spend just a little bit of time. This B, C, D, E is nasty. It's a bit mean. All right, then we've got the harmonic minor. Now the harmonic minor, we've got the G sharp, which is the raised seventh. Now F to G sharp to A. That is just a nasty combination. It's really going to help to get these fingers nice and round and loose, and feel how this finger is going to lift and the baby finger going to go down exactly at the same time. So we have to really get that nice and accurate and clean. And we're going to come down. And I'm doing it nice and slowly, and I'm just really listening carefully to those fingers, making sure there's no uneven or kind of messy fingerings. Just nice and slow and careful. Then we have the melodic minor. So in the melodic minor, we raise the sixth and the seventh note, and then on the way down, we lower those notes again. So basically we have the natural minor coming down. And there it is. Okay, now I'm going to just have a little word here about those exercises. Now the exercises based on the scale is basically just meant to help you explore the scale. It's actually meant to make your life a little bit easier and more interesting. Now I can totally get that when you look at them, it's just overwhelming. But practicing any of these exercises is basically going to help you with the scale. So I'm going to show you how to practice these exercises today. That's going to hopefully make it a little bit easier. Now, if you haven't watched the whole kind of normal video part of this series, you possibly might not have seen the emphasis this week that I'm putting on pacing yourself, taking it slow, and doing what you can. So it might be a question of just doing the scales once a day, or just playing through this first page of scales. Maybe you are then starting to work on the exercises, but only doing maybe one or two of them in a week even. That's fine, or in a day, or whatever it might be. Slow and do what you can manage. Okay, so a nice little exercise that you can work on here is the exercise with the 4 notes or the 6 notes. Those are really nice to start with. So exercise 3 is a really nice one because we're just doing 4 notes at a time. then you stop, and then you think of the next 4 notes. You stop again, and the next 4 notes. So basically, you're really just practicing 4 notes of the C major scale at a time and just taking it really slow and easy like that. No drama, no fuss, just keeping it simple. And you can do the same thing with the A minor. Maybe you now want to try the 6 notes, so you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you stop, think of the next note. Don't forget your G sharp. Stop. And you can even do it slower than that. And you don't have to even do the whole exercise. Maybe you just do it up and then you take a little break. If it's feeling like a lot of very taxing work and it's too much, take it back a step. So this should be always a small challenge, but nothing that should feel like it's absolutely impossible or that you're like spending 10 minutes on just one little exercise. Then I think dial it back and maybe just do even the 2 bars of the exercise. That's enough. Just do those 2 little bars, repeat it, and then have a little break, and then maybe do another 2 bars. Guys, remember, we are just getting more comfortable with the scale, understanding these scales. This is not about mastering and managing these exercises like, 100% right now. We're going to spend a lot of time with this material, so just baby steps. Okay, we're going to go to these arpeggios. So we have our C major arpeggio. So remember, we've got the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th note. So we've got C, skip D to E, skip F to G. So we've got C, E, G. That's what it is. Now, we're going to do the same with A minor. So A, we've got A, we skip B, we've got C, we skip D, we've got E. So we've got A, C, E. There it is. Once again, those exercises on those scales are really meant to help you explore. Don't work with those exercises until that arpeggio is starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. You cannot play this arpeggio too many times. It's just one of those things, like it's such great practice just to play the arpeggio. So just do that. You're doing good. Now, maybe even the dominant and the diminished sevenths, you want to leave them out for now. Do. If you are just coming to grips with those first group of scales, that is so perfect. And that's more than enough at this stage. That's like, genuinely, most beginners wouldn't be doing the dominant and diminished scales. But for those of you who would like to push yourselves, you can. So let's just go over the dominant seventh again, just to remind ourselves we are the dominant. So the 5th step of C major. So we've got C, D, E, F. G is our 5th note of C major. So we're on G. So we're building up a chord on that G. So we've got G, then we skip the A, we've got B, then we skip the C, and we've got D. So we've got G, B, D, and then we add a 7th. So we've got G, B, D, we skip E, we've got F. So we've got G, B, D, F. But now remember, we're in C major still. So it's F natural and not F sharp like you would think if you were in G major. We are in C major. So we've got... There it is. The diminished scale, we've got those minor thirds stacked on top of each other. So we have got the first one is C to E flat. E flat, remember, is like D with the baby finger down and this finger lifted up. Good. Then from E flat, we go to F sharp or G flat. That's another minor third. I'm not going to go too detailed right now about how to work out these minor thirds. It's basically those 3 semitones. We've done this right now. I think you'll get more and more comfortable with these scales as we go. So we have C, E flat, G flat or F sharp. And then F sharp to A. And then back to C. See, voila, that's what it is. All right, guys, I am going to go through the chromatic scale for us today, just step by step, so that it makes some sense. So we start with C. We go then to C sharp. So we lift that finger. C sharp goes to D. D, we go to D sharp or E flat. D sharp is there, so the baby finger down. Then we have E. Remember, between E and F, we have only got the semitone, so we go to F straight away. Then to F sharp, then to G sharp, we put down the first baby finger, and then to A. Now, A sharp, which is the same as B flat, and we have to use the long B flat fingering for this guy because we're going to play B natural right after that. So this is the one place where we have to use this long B flat fingering. So we have B, and then B to C, again, we just lift the thumb, it's that semitone already. That's your chromatic scale. If you look at those chromatic exercises again and the whole tone, do the same thing that we did with the scale exercises. So basically you really just maybe play 6 notes. You take a break and you think. Next step. Stop and you think. So you're always thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop, think. Okay, the whole tone scale, remember it's those whole tones next to each other. So we start off, we've got C to D is a whole tone. To E is another whole tone. Now remember, E to F is a half step or a half tone. So we have to go from E to F sharp. Then F sharp, we need to go to, not G, because that would be a half step. We need to go to G sharp. And then we're going to have the same thing. To A would be a half step, so to A sharp. Now, for this scale, you can put the B flat key down. You can mark it in your music. This is one of them that you can just keep this. So you can play A sharp basically like B flat. So we have. So there, F sharp to G sharp to A sharp or B flat with the key down like that, and then C. I'm encouraging you guys again, keep it simple, keep it slow. Maybe you just want to do the major and minor scale and arpeggio and maybe a little bit of a chromatic and leave out the other fancy scales, you know, the whole tone and the diminished and the dominant. That's fine. That's more than enough. You are doing great. Keep asking questions. Keep sharing your experience. If you are feeling still overwhelmed, share it. I will do my best to kind of encourage you and help you along and give some advice as you go. Hopefully, you're getting a sense of the kind of work you can do here. Remember, this is really about kind of getting you familiar with these scales and slowly working through and moving through them. So you're not expected to do all of it. It is a lot, but it's also a lot so that all the others that need more, and as you grow and you learn, you're going to come back to this maybe in a year and you're going to be like, hey, I can do some of these things that I couldn't do a year ago. Until then, everybody, happy practicing and see you next time.